All right. Quick reintroduction. My name's Ivana. I'm the Community Engagement Manager. This is the new teams introduction session for the 2026-2027 season. Um, just make sure to keep yourself on mute if you're going to be in the session. If you have questions, type them in the chat as we go through the call. And we'll have a dedicated Q&A session at the end if you want to answer or ask your questions. You can unmute and we can go from there. All right, so first off, I kind of wanted to showcase a quick little video about what the competition looks like to kind of get you an understanding of what STEM racing kind of looks like. All right, so that is a video from our 2025 national finals. And it showcases kind of all the details of what the competition kind of looks like. So let me go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. So quick background on what STEM racing is. So STEM racing, with support from industry sponsors, aims to make this a nationally recognized and inclusive program. And it engages students from all kinds of backgrounds in a fun, hands-on learning experience. This is a challenge that uses a Formula One theme initiative to teach students skills, build connections, and explore careers in STEM, marketing, and technology. The vision of the program is to create a hands-on immersive experience where students build mock Formula One teams. You collaborate with industry sponsors, you develop real-world skills in STEM, project management, and teamwork. And through this engaging environment, students gain valuable exposure to different career paths, build confidence, and hopefully pursue opportunities in STEM fields to help close the gap between education and the growing demand of STEM professionals. A bit of background on the program is this is an international program that started in the UK in 1999. It was brought to the US in 2005, and since then it has created world champions from the United States that get to represent the country at the World Finals. So a little bit about the challenge. It is a challenge tailored to students aged 9 through 19. Teams can be between 3 and 6 students per team. So this is your core team that gets to go to competitions. And these are some of the elements that each of the teams have to create. So one would be you're designing, testing, and manufacturing a 1/20th scale F1 car. You are developing your portfolios. These include project management portfolios, enterprise, and engineering. You also have to create a pit display that details all your team's work. A verbal presentation that's usually done in front of a panel of judges, showcasing your team and your work. Interviews. So you'll have enterprise interviews, engineering interviews, project management interviews with industry experience, both engineers and professionals. You have to create a team brand, an identity with some kind of marketing and digital media strategy. And teams need to create their own team budget, acquire and manage sponsorships and partnerships, as this is a self-funded challenge. So STEM racing within the United States looks like this. There's 2 classes that students and teams can compete in. One will be the development class, and the second one will be the professional class. The development class is usually targeted or suggested to be like in the fifth to eighth grade range, while the professional is more of that eighth through 12th grade range. They're both they're both challenging classes. Just the development class lets you manufacture the car using 3D printers, and it has one less portfolio than the professional class, but it is still a very valuable experience and a very challenging project. On the professional class, all cars need to be CNC'd manufactured, and it does include that extra project management portfolio. One thing to note is that for yearly competitions, when you look at how our program is run per year, so we follow a school calendar. So you'll have a regional finals in the end of the fall semester, let's say. And this is any team that's interested in competing outside of your school. You have to start at the regional finals, and these competitions feature teams from various states. From here, this is kind of the stepping stone into qualifying for national finals. So at national finals, we can take up to 40 professional teams and 15 development teams from all the different states that competed at regional finals. And then for this particular competition, both development and professional class teams can compete at the national level. From this competition, the top three in the professional class get a ticket to the world finals. So if you are interested in having a chance to go to world finals, the route to do that is through the professional class. But if you're a new team and you're wanting to kind of dip your toe in the competition, development class is a great place to start. And then if you've made it into the top three teams of national finals in the US, then you would be able to get a ticket to the world finals where you compete with teams from all over the world. And many teams spend like multiple years working towards this goal. So it is a very challenging goal, but it is definitely doable. And we've seen many US teams make it in the past few seasons. So a quick kind of roadmap to the road of STEM racing. Basically, you're here, you're interested. How do you begin? What are the steps to follow? So step one is always going to be to read the rules and regulations. So on our website, and I'll walk through the website at the end, make sure you read the competition regulations that are posted on there. Both there are development rules and then professional rules. Make sure to read the one that you are wanting to participate in. So read the rules, get an understanding of what the competition entails, what are all the elements that you need to submit for competition. That way you are familiar before you move on to the next section. So from there, form your team. Gather teams from your school, from your neighborhood, from your community. Teams don't have to be associated specifically with one singular school. It could be the county, things like that. But make sure you form your team. And teams, like I said, competitive teams need to be 3 to 6 students, so 3 minimum, 6 maximum. So make sure you get to form your team this way. If you're a team that maybe you're a community based and you're not like associated with a school, you can be an independent team. That is totally okay. Next, once you have your team, you've read the rules, you can then affiliate with STEM Racing USA. So on our website, there's a big pink button that says affiliate. Make sure to click on there and fill out your information. And basically that's letting us know that, hey, we're a team, we want to compete. We want to get access to the team portal, the virtual training guide, some of the online resources we provide. We host info sessions. So you get access to that once you affiliate with us. Affiliation is a yearly kind of membership. So if you're a team that started today, but you want to compete next year too, you would re-affiliate again the next season. So from here, you're ready to kind of tackle on the project challenges. So you'll develop your teammate brand and your identity, think about your team logo, your team colors, your team name, things like that. You'll start designing, manufacturing, and testing your car. So once you get access to the team portal, you'll be able to see the technical regulations. So technical regulations is everything that are related to the car itself that you're designing and manufacturing. So you want to take the information from those tech regulations and begin designing and manufacturing your car. From here, all the information you've gathered from developing your team, from your team brand, your identity, how you're testing it, how you're manufacturing and designing your car, all the information that's there needs to be placed in your portfolio to let the judges know, like, hey, this is why our car looks like this is why our colors are this way, this is why we chose our name, things like that all gets written and put into your different portfolios in your pit display. Then you would, at that point, you're like, okay, we're ready to compete. You would register and attend your regional finals. And I'll talk about the competitions in a little bit. And then from then on, if you've qualified, you would then register and attend national finals. So, quick little tidbit on how to split up your team. So, like I said, teams are 3 to 6 members. And this is your core team, the ones that would be participating in your interviews, in your verbal presentation, things like that. So these is just a general recommendation of team roles. So you will definitely want to have a team manager. And this is the one role that is required per the rules. They are responsible for managing the team and all the project management efforts. So these include that making sure all the race cars are ready for the competition. You can have a resource manager. This person can be responsible for organizing time, materials, and equipment for designing and making the cars. You can have a sponsorship and marketing manager. This is person's responsible for generating, sponsorship proposals, potential partners, contacting firms, neighborhoods, and then marketing the team through different digital and physical media. You'd have your graphic designer that they're, in charge of the team branding and the identity, including your logo, your marketing materials, what font, the look of your portfolios, the pit display, things like that. That's kind of where a good graphic designer would fall in. You have your design engineers and your manufacturing engineer. They kind of go hand in hand. So your design engineer is responsible for the styling and the aerodynamics of the car, while your manufacturing engineer is the physical manufacturing of the car and the constraints of the machining process. So, a design engineer may want a wing done a specific way. The manufacturing engineer would work with them and be like, hey, with the 3D printer we have or with the CNC we have, we physically can't do that. Like these are constraints with the equipment we have. So, and like I said, these are just a general recommendation. Each team can create their own team roles and team names, just as long as you have a team manager, as that will be needed for the competition. Let's say you have a smaller team that does not have, 6 team roles. You can always double up on responsibilities for what the competition needs. So just make sure that this is something you kind of do towards the beginning of your project. That way, when you're forming your team, you kind of start splitting up responsibilities so you can start managing the project a little bit better, just because it might seem very daunting right at the beginning when there's like all these things you have to do. All right. So these are just a few considerations I like to touch on for new teams. It's just a general, some project challenges I've seen in the past few years of participating in this competition and helping out. So the first one being a project budget. So STEM racing teams budgets can range from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars. Think of a local competition, a virtual competition, or a national competition. So just keep this in mind, that although there is no minimum or maximum budget for a team, most teams do fund their efforts through sponsorship and in-kind partnerships. So this is a self-funded program. So I would definitely, if your goal is to make it to nationals, maybe start with like, okay, the recommended, like what has it been historical for our national final teams, like how much money are they fundraising? You can start with that value so you know what you're targeting for when you start the season. Another note that I've seen of challenge-wise is manufacturing capabilities. So for professional teams, you have to manufacture your car utilizing a CNC router and like 3D printing manufacturing methods. So just keep this in mind as you are wanting to participate in this competition. Start reaching out to resources if your school or your community does not have access to these things. Maybe partnering with local universities or machine shops or other teams potentially, if you don't easily have access to a CNC router or a 3D printer, for example. And then lastly is time commitment. So STEM racing is truly a program where the students get back the amount of effort they put into it. The competition can obviously be a very large time commitment for students as it requires a lot of dedication. You're basically creating a mock F1 team with tons of project elements. So keep all those things in mind when you're thinking about the competition and how to like break it down into maybe bite-sized pieces to be able to accomplish all the things for competition. And then all teams need to have like a lead adult that's associated with their team. And depending on if it's a development class or a professional class, there may be slight differences in the time commitment and coaching and guidance each team might require. So generally, we like to say though that this is a very much like a student-led competition. We want the students to manage it and lead it themselves. But we do understand that for maybe development class or younger teams, a bit of extra guidance may be needed from the lead adults. But in the professional class, it is mainly student led, but might require like, a lead adult uh, help when it comes to like budget management or purchasing flights to the competition, reserving hotels, things like that. But should mainly be led by the student team managers. Okay, so this is kind of a project budget example. This is on our website as well. So if you want to go back and reference it, you can definitely go and check it out. So huge recommendation is to start reaching out to your community for sponsorship and fundraising opportunities, whether that is, your typical fundraising of a bake sale or a car wash or things like that. Or if you're, knocking on your neighborhood's doors and, kind of having like a sponsorship pitch deck that you want to provide and say like, hey, you helping us in this cause, like this is the return on investment for supporting this program and our team. But this is on the right-hand side, this is kind of a general project budget example of how much cost-wise would look like in a year for a team. So this is kind of split between school costs and team costs. If you are a team that is not, affiliated with their school, it would all fall under the team cost. So yearly costs would include affiliation and both national and regional finals registrations. And then once you look at regional finals, I'll talk about the competition in the specific regional finals competition in a little bit. But for regional finals, we tend to like to do a virtual competition just to keep costs down for teams. So you'll definitely need maybe a t-shirt for your verbal presentation video that you'll submit. And you'll need to purchase shipping for your car. You'll submit a car to us to race on the track. And then you'll obviously need some car supplies, whether that is your model blocks, your axles, paint, wheels, things like that. When you look at the national finals, so this is in-person competition. So definitely you have to keep in mind travel and lodging expenses, as well as physical printing. So you'll need to print your portfolios. You'll need to print whatever banners you want to put in your pit display. And then most teams like to have like things in front of the pit display. So think about your pit display components, whatever that may be, the way you're displaying your car, or maybe you have some sort of screen showcasing your designs, things like that. And then you have your car supplies here again for national finals. Teams need to submit 2 race cars and one display car. So that's 3 fully assembled car that you need to bring in. So that's already 2 more than what you started with at regional finals. And then it is a multi-day competition. So you have to think about your, extra set of uniforms for those few extra days that you would be competing at. So this is kind of like an example budget that we like to explain. It is on our website. Obviously, depending on if your team lives in the area where we're hosting nationals or has to travel cross country, those kinds of values do change. Okay, so yearly competition schedule for this year for the 2026-2027 season. So we are hosting a regional finals competition virtually. This is held in December. It is open to all affiliated teams and everybody is invited to compete. The cost for registration is $300 per team. And then from here, you kind of get, based on top finishers from the regional finals, you'll qualify for that in-person national finals later in the season. For this year, national finals will be held April 11th through the 14th. It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's open to all qualified teams from regional finals. and it will cost approximately $2,000 per team. This is just from last year's estimated cost. So this is kind of like a fundraising plan. So start fundraising with the plan of going to national finals if that is what your goal is. The average for the 2024-2025 season was between $7,500 and $11,000. So make sure to kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about, starting the season and you want a chance to have to go to national finals. You kind of start fundraising from the get-go for this goal, instead of waiting until regional finals is complete to start fundraising a lot more money with a lot less time. All right, so specific information about the 2027 regional final. So although it is hosted in December of 2026, since it's part of the 2027 season, it is called the 2027 regional final. So this is going to be held in early December. Like I said, it is a virtual competition, and you will submit digital elements to the competition, and then you'll also ship your car to STEM Racing, and we'll be recording and racing your car on the official competition track. So that will all be due before Thanksgiving. Sorry, the cars will be due before Thanksgiving. The project elements will all be due after Thanksgiving. So, but that's all digital stuff you would submit through a digital form. From here, once your car gets submitted, it'll get scrutinized or scrutineered. It will get raced down the track. We will record it, and then we will be posting a video and showcasing your results that following December 12th weekend. And then for national finals, like I said, this is being held in April of next year. So the competition itself is April 12th through the 14th. Teams do have to arrive a day earlier. So that's why in the previous page, it was 11th through the 14th. It is being hosted at the Charlotte Airport Hotel. We will likely have spectators availability if you want to start having students and teachers that are interested in coming to see the competition in person. All right, so I wanted to kind of walk through the website. So let me share the website. Let me find. Here we go. All right. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is our STEM Racing website. Like, you guys are all part of this new teams introduction session. And this is where a lot of the information that I just talked about the competition will be located in as well. So first off is, how do I read the rules and regulations? So under the compete, you will have a rules and regulations button. And this is where would be step number 1 from your road to STEM racing. You'll have your development class rules, and then you have your professional class competition rules. Once you're ready to start a team and you affiliate, then you would get access to your technical regulations that are specifics to your cars. So everything that you have to build your cars to will be in these technical regulations. So once you're ready to affiliate, you would press this big pink button, and then you would press the next pink button, and you would fill out the information on this form. From here, you would get access to the team portal. So once you are in the team portal, which I'm sure, okay, maybe I've logged in. This is kind of where you would see informational sessions, where you would see how to register for competition, the virtual training guide. Let me think what else. Let's see here. Oh, my bad. I think I am not sharing the right screen yet. Let me do this again. All right, here we go. That should be it. So let me go back to the beginning. All right, so once you go to our website, so stemracing.us, you would get to this front page. So if you're ready to go and read the rules and regulations, you would go to the compete rules and regulations. So on here, you will get access to this year's competition regulations. You have your development class on the left, and your professional class on the right. So I'll just open one for right now just to kind of showcase what it looks like. So this goes through all the different information about the competition. What can your name include for your team name? What are your responsibilities? What are the documents you need to turn in for regionals and nationals and things like that. And then once you're ready to compete, you would affiliate, and then that would give you access to the technical regulations. So these right here would go through the specifications for your race cars themselves to make sure that they're in compliance. All right, so once you are like, cool, I know the rules and regulations, I've read through them, I'm ready to affiliate, you would press this pink button on the right-hand side. You would press the next pink button on the next page, and then you would fill out this information about your team. So if you do not have a school, you do not have to put a school here. You can just put independent team or your county or things like that. It doesn't have to be associated with your school. And once you fill this information out, there's various levels of memberships depending on how many teams your school can or how many teams your school wants to participate with. Most teams will do the silver membership as they only have one team. And then from here, you would get access to the team portal. So team portal gives you access to information about info sessions. It gives you information about how to register for the competition and the ability to register for the competition, dates on when affiliation opens, information on national finals, things like that. It would give you access to the technical regulations. So on here, you would have access to the technical regulations about the cars themselves. It has access to all the events, info session, when they are, what dates, what topics will they be. It gives you access to a directory for like where are teams located that have a that have requested to be put on the calendar or sorry, on the directory page. And then it'll also have resources. So resources include getting access to the Race to Learn store. So if you want materials specific to the competition, you can go to the Race to Learn store as they are official partner to STEM racing equipment. You would have access to a virtual training guide, which gives you kind of an overview of information you would need to know about the competition and kind of a good starting point if you don't know where to start. It also has downloads, so think of logos. Cars need to have particular decals, so this is where you would get that. If you'd like to make your own scrutineering gauge, you can get this as well here. So just make sure that this gives you access to this as well. And then software as well. So Autodesk and Ansys are sponsors of the competition. And if you do not have access to a 3D design software, you can use Fusion 360 for this. And if you want a CFD software, you can use Ansys as well. And this gives you access to their student versions that you can utilize for the competition. So that is what the team portal kind of showcases. It also has information about like how to, you know, register for the competition once that opens. How does it work? And you will kind of all see it on here when it's time to register for the competition. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen because I don't think I had anything else. Nope. The only other thing, if you guys wanted to note, is if you have questions following this session, you are welcome to email us at info@stemracing.us, or you can directly email me. I'll put my email on the chat as well, just in case you guys have any questions about the competition. You are welcome to reach out. But I'll go ahead and maybe stop the recording for a minute and we can answer questions.